Your current salary equals your current price, and your current price equals your current value. In general, the smarter you are, the richer you are. Because think about it, the money you make is simply related to what you're good at. The proof, Warren Buffett mentality, price is what you pay, value is what you get. Except that today, let's face it, the general level is dropping week by week. Why? Because the goal is not excellence for all. The goal is excellence for a small elite and a nightmare for the rest of us. Do the math. More years spent playing Call of Duty and FIFA than reading books. More cigarettes smoked than push-ups done. More sex in front of our friends than with a girlfriend. Today, more than ever, we're getting back on track and making a clear diagnosis. Many people want to read in a hurry thanks to speed reading to get rid of the book quickly. But on the other hand, what's incomprehensible is that all these same people take their time to choose their evening porn. Life is about choice. Choice is about vision. Two options. Option 1, you choose to reassure your parents. Option 2, you choose to insure your children. But faced with a complicated choice, our first nature is to do nothing. Except here, we succeed because we understand the difference between a difficult choice and a complicated one. 1. A difficult choice requires courage. 2. A complicated choice requires rage. Your brain now is your results in 5 years. So follow me through this video to the end and do it again until all the changes seem normal. We're going over the 8 worst habits that weaken our intellectual abilities. Now, simple. Be as comfortable as possible. Imminent takeoff. Worst habit number 1, working in front of Squid Game. For all our ages, we have spent more hours in front of a screen than a human being. Outside, excessive and unjustified waiting times mean that the internet is replacing real life. Thanks to Google, in less than a second, you can find 2 million articles, all relevant, that explain in a more synthetic way what none of your former teachers taught you. Thanks to YouTube, you don't have to go to 200 YouTubers every day to spend a little time with us. Just click on subscribe and the bell to be notified of all our new releases. Thanks to me, you don't need to read all the books I've read. No, simply follow my videos and all the work is already done for you. Simple. Netflix series are our enemies for life. Why? Because all the writers are true experts in human behavior. As proof, they are paid a fortune to make sure we don't resist watching the next episode. Even worse, the automatic reading after 10 seconds amplifies our submission to the screen, which decides to move on to the next episode for us. But Netflix's biggest cost is not its $17.99 maximum package. No, Netflix's biggest cost is everything we could have done instead of staying in bed. Here, we are wide awake. Everything is done to ensure that we spend the maximum amount of attention and therefore time. So, we don't stay with the people who gives us the best 10 minutes. No, we stay with the people who teaches us the most in 10 minutes. Remember the saying, it's not for nothing that we say, pay attention. So, master advice, it's like with cigarettes, the best way to quit is never to start. Keep the image in mind. We see our brain as a switch. Why? Because it only knows how to do one thing at a time. You have 11 million receptors dedicated to your senses and 10 million of them are dedicated to your sight. So, watching content while working at the same time means you're only at 50% of your capacity. I'm telling you, our brains don't multitask at all. The proof, It's like when you walk. Have you ever seen someone on the street moving with both feet? No. When you move forward, it's one foot after the other. It's the same for your brain. It's a contender for the most underrated book of all time. You've never heard of it? From Success to Success. Writes it. You can do 5 things better and faster by doing them one at a time. So, as soon as you have a new problem to solve, just do it without thinking. Why? Because remember the metaphor. A problem is like an infection that starts at the tip of your finger on the first day and ends up at the top of your throat in the first months. Everyone has problems, but what differentiates the rich from the poor is their ability to manage them. The proof: a problem keeps the rich man busy during the day. A problem keeps the poor man busy during the night. Worst habit number 2, eating like an elephant with a mouse's stomach. Of all the people like me who work mornings and afternoons, how many of us find that our productivity is halved after lunch? It's easy to understand why. The hardest part of the day is between 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. Yet, a man like Elon Musk manages to work 80 hours a week for years in a row. The question is, why does he work more than the rest of us? Because he eats less than we do. Light, expensive, balanced meals, because the less you fill your belly, the more you fill your head. Keep in mind, digesting and working are not compatible, because eating 3 big meals a day equals 6 hours of digestion a day. Our idea here is not to stop eating, but to stop stuffing ourselves. The ketogenic diet combined with intermittent fasting allows you to start each new day fresh after a good night's sleep, not a good night's digestion, because just because you sleep doesn't mean your body sleeps. Quite often, it's our stomachs that work overtime. Keep this sentence from Jacques Attali in mind. 100 years ago, it was the poor who were dry and the rich who were fat. Today, it's the rich who are dry and the poor who are fat. Worst habit number 3, going to bed at sunrise. As you know, a full life equals a full death. Better yet, your life is your day, so a full day equals a full sleep. The aim of the game is to get to bed at night without being able to do a single thing more. Because if you've got 50% energy left, that means you're only living halfway. Often we go to bed later to have more time to work on our projects. But nothing is more counterproductive, because the less you sleep, the less you live. The proof: according to a study conducted by the University of California, sleeping less than 6 hours a night reduces your life expectancy by 12%. 12% on an 80-year life expectancy means you will die 10 years earlier. So, all the hours of sleep we think we're gaining, we're losing 100-fold in the years we have left to live. Even worse, because during our sleep, our bodies cleanse our brains of the toxins accumulated during the day. So, sleeping well is more important than working well. That's why we make these 3 promises to each other. 1. We won't eat anything after 9 p.m. 2. Every night we put all electronic devices in the apartment or house on airplane mode. 3. We go to bed early enough not to need an alarm clock to get up on time. Worst habit number 4, spending more time on Instagram than with your family. 30,000 is the number of days we spend here from birth to death. We're not afraid to tell each other things. Would you rather spend that little time in the virtual world or in the real world? Without realizing it, social media messes with our brains a little more with each new scroll on the applications because it gets us used to seeking immediate reward without effort. We become lazy and like sugar, we can't do without it without even knowing why. Today, more than ever, the worst mistake you can make when you get out of bed is to update your social media. It's a fact. On Instagram, you're comparing yourself to the best versions in every field the world currently knows, the minute we speak. But social media are like an iceberg because you only see the 5 emerged minutes of the 24 immersed hours of the person. My mentality: compare yourself to your reflection, not to remake people. Worst habit number 5, watching porn before bed. Because the more you get used to the virtual, the less comfortable you are in the real world. So, there are 2 ways for you to put an end to this addiction. 1. Wear the suit, because your clothes change what you look like more than your muscles. As you know, we dress for other people, and other people are women. 2. Multiply your vocabulary. Keep in mind, people don't remember what you say, but what they felt. And as written in the reference book Unlimited Power by Anthony Robbins, if you don't change the words, the experience stays the same. So stand out, change the words. Worst habit number 6, thinking alcohol only lasts for an evening. Studies show that excessive alcohol consumption reduces the volume of our brain structure. Even when we're young, we pass the age of before club and after parties. My best evenings are the ones that allow me to create businesses. Our strength here is that we don't try to make up for a bad week with a good weekend, because here we make sure we don't need a weekend. People don't drink because they like alcohol, but because alcohol makes them feel like they like what they're doing. Alcohol, like drugs, makes your life more enjoyable from time to time, while books transform your life all the time. Worst habit number 7, putting your teachers or bosses ahead of authors. I recommend. School teaches you to get your paycheck, yes, but who wants to be an employee today? Because if you think earning money equals salary, then school has already won. Idris Abakan mentality: school is like a shoe, because it's up to your foot to adapt. The truth is, if you take your friends and girls out of school, you're left with a teacher you don't want to be like, but who tells you for 8 hours a day how to be like him. Worst habit number 8, knowing more refrains than quotes. It's on everyone's mind. 1924, poetry so well in place. 2024, rap so treating water. Today, the vocabulary of an 18-30-year-old is made up of 1,000 words, so 4,000 less than the average. As proof, the latest trendy rappers don't even try to find rhymes anymore, but just repeat the same words or shout. But as you know, we think in words. So, whoever diminishes his vocabulary diminishes his thinking. If you look closely, rap videos boil down to 2 expressions. 1, bum in the air. 2, greenbacks. Easy.